Mike Leach was hired in Starkville, Mississippi for a purpose. An amazing career that he had at Washington State, but so far it has not gone his way so much in Starkville. I mean, yeah, he broke SEC and school record as a head coach with passing yards in a single game with his quarterback in Rodgers. And yeah, he's the first head coach to win a top 10 matchup in his debut. But at Mississippi State, overall, he's 11-13. That is below 500. Can he make up for it and improve his record here in year 3? Let's take a look at it. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Christian Ballard of Ballard Sports Media coming at you with another preview video today, and this is it. This is the finale. No, not of the channel, stupid. Come on now. The finale of our SEC previews, and we're going to do the Big Ten next. Again, we're going by conference this offseason. We're making some good timing, too. We're fixing to kick off the Big Ten. I'll probably start that up next week for you guys. But you guys let me know. Let me know what Big Ten team I should do to start. But I know based on the polling, people said the Big Ten should be next after the SEC. And then I think the ACC had a higher majority vote. But we'll do the Big Ten and we'll go from there. But anyway, we're here today to do the 2022 Mississippi State Bulldogs season preview. You look at what they did last year, and I'll pull their schedule up. 7-6 overall, not too bad. Had a bowl game against Texas Tech, which was Mike Leach, where he formerly coached, one of his biggest coaching jobs. They lost that 34-7. Overall, I just think that they had some good offense at times. You know, they beat teams like Auburn with 43 points, Tennessee State 55-10, Kentucky 31-17. Obviously, losing to teams like LSU and Alabama. I mean, it was a roller coaster. I think they have this upcoming season. They have Georgia on the schedule. They didn't play them in this year, but didn't they play each other in 2020 when we had the all conference? I don't know, but. You lost to Memphis. Now, Memphis is a 10-win program, a great team in the American Conference. Louisiana Tech, you beat them. Mississippi State's just in a position where it's so weird. I mean, how do you beat the Aggies? You lose a close game to Arkansas, which Arkansas did pretty good, believe it or not, this season with Sam Pittman. I'll say this. Right. They do have the spring game on Saturday. We're going to get a good look at them. I like their defense this year coming in. I really do. But they are losing some guys. They're really losing at least 3 key draft prospects that I'm looking at. Charles Cross is the top. Well, not the top because you start with Evan Neal. But you got Charles Cross is a top offensive tackle in the draft class. He could go in the top 10. Makai Polk is a wide receiver. Could possibly be a steal on day 2 or late in the first round. Martin Emerson, talk more about him. Is he a first-round steal? He's a corner, right? He's in the category of Derek Stingley, right? Or not in the category, but he's the position group. Martin Emerson, I'm hearing a lot about him. I would compare him to like Kyer Elam out of Florida. Just great intangibles, great size, athleticism, speed, very well built. Those are at least 3 guys that they lose. I don't have it pulled up in front of me. But I'll say this. I want to look at their recruiting class. I'll pull it up. But we can take a look. But again, this is what they did last year. They got off to a good start. They They went 3-2 in their first 5 games before the bye week. Obviously, NC State's a pretty good win, at least for Mississippi State. Louisiana Tech's been a pretty darn good team. They play them close, but they pull it out in the first week of the season. Not too bad. I don't think Memphis is a bad team or a bad program. They've had some 8-4, 9-3. I thought a 10-win season a couple years ago. They lose by 2 there. You lose to LSU. The losses aren't bad. Like, it's not like they choked a game away to a nobody team. You blew out Tennessee State. You won by 9 against Auburn. You lose to Ole Miss, who had one of the best quarterbacks and one of the best offenses, more complete offenses with Matt Corral, Snoop Connor, and company last season. The Mike Leach Bowl, though, Texas Tech, 34-7. That's not the way you want to end it. Texas Tech, though, I mean, I guess they're an okay team. I don't know what to say. But, again, overall, I really don't have much to say about Mississippi State, folks. I think that, and again, I think they take a step back. I think they lose some talent. Their recruiting currently is top 30. They're 27th overall. SEC ranked. Remind you, there's 14 SEC teams. They took a step back. Last year, they were 26th nationally and 10th in the SEC. They're 12th in the SEC in this previous class that we just signed in college football. And they're 27th nationally. So not a major step back, but a small step back. They got a lot of 3 stars. DeCarlos Nicholson. Let me pull this up for you guys. Brady Locke. Not that these guys can't be any good, but for Mississippi State, they are in a little bit of a hole. They're basically a coin flip. Like, okay, it's kind of a coin flip this year for me. Like, do they make a bowl game or not? I'm just going to go ahead and be honest with you, and we'll get to their schedule in a second. I don't think they're making a bowl game, but we'll get to a record in a second. And I remind you, you got to be 500. You got to win 6 games out of 12. I don't think they're going to do that, but more on that in a minute. Javai Gilmore, a linebacker, 3-star, who's the 20th in the state of Louisiana. He's from Amite, Louisiana, which is also home of Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner. Caden Pope is a 3-star receiver from Savannah, Tennessee. Trent Singleton from Raymond, Mississippi. They do pretty good in-state recruiting. Calvin Dinkins, Avery Sledge. Hold up. You have a guy on your team with the last name Sledge? Like what, Sledgehammer? That's a heck of a name right there, man. I don't care how good of a team this is. I want to watch that guy for that name. Avery Sledge? Sledge with the sack. Sledge with the tackle. Oh, that sounds cool. Anyway, getting back on track. They got some good players. You never know. Star ratings don't mean a lot. These guys could end up being really, really good or really, really bad. We will see. And you never want to throw players under the bus. You don't blame players for where they go to school and all that. Obviously, though, the recruiting for state could be better. It also could be a lot worse, but I think they're in a very interesting and good position. We're going to try to make this one short today, guys. Overall, let's get back to it. We saw what they did last year, 7-6 overall. They split the SEC play, went 4-4. They lost the Liberty Bowl to Texas Tech. People called it the Mike Leach Bowl, I think, right? But let's look at what they could do this season in 2022 here, if I pull this up. All right, let's take a look at it. They get the spring game this Saturday. Going to be interesting to see. And it's a good possibility. I don't want to wait till after all the spring games to start doing previews. You got to get them out as early as possible, especially for someone like me who wants to cover every Power 5 team if at all possible. The maroon and white spring game, we'll see a lot about what this team could be. Maybe they surprise us. Maybe their defense is better than we think. Maybe the offense is better than we think. I think this is going to be a young team this year. I think that in a way, they do take a step back. You open up, let me full screen this one this time. You open up with Memphis from Memphis, Tennessee. You go to Arizona. You play at LSU. So Memphis is a good team. They've had some 8-9 win seasons. Arizona is terrible. LSU is LSU. You just never know. That's one of those coin flip games where this game every single year goes one of two ways. I mean, LSU gets a close win or Mississippi State gets a close win. It seems like these are always close with these teams, isn't it? Bowling Green should have no problem. I would expect them in the non-con to do pretty well. A&M, we know what they're doing in recruiting. Arkansas, I think, does take a step forward with Coach Pittman this year. I like what he's doing. I think he's got to step up his recruiting game a bit, but I think they could bounce back. I think Arkansas, and obviously I previewed them, but I said that it was the right start, not exactly the best of – well, I think they won like their last 3 games or whatever it was. So they finished pretty strongly. They were just middle of the road, and it came time for the A&Ms or the Bamas or the bigger tier teams in the SEC, and that's what got to them. At Kentucky with Mark Stoops, I think they still got Will Levis as the quarterback. Maybe I'm wrong, but at Alabama, off week, Auburn, Georgia, ETSU, at Ole Miss. Let me just cut to the chase here, folks, and say this about Mississippi State. I think they do improve based on performance, but I think it's one of those where the record-wise, they're not making a bowl game. I just think that there's a couple teams in there like Georgia and Kentucky on the road. You know, you got to think of stuff like that. I think they win out in the non-con. I think they're going to beat ETSU. I'm going to say they beat a team like Auburn. They should beat Bowling Green. Bowling Green's had some good teams, though. Memphis, they should beat, although that could be a trap game right out the bat. Memphis is pretty good. At Arizona, I mentioned Arizona in the Pac-12. How are they Power 5? I forget all about them sometimes. That is a women's basketball school. What does Uncle Lou say? Basketball school? Yeah. They're not really good in football. They should have no problem there. At LSU, they could win that one on the road. I just like Brian Kelly this year. I know we kind of troll him because of his TikTok dancing with the players, but I think that shows good class in a way, just to hang out with the players and show that he cares about them. He wants to invest in his play. He's having fun with his players. What more do you want? Overall, I'm just going to go ahead and cut to the chase. I don't want to waste any more time talking about the Mississippi State Bulldogs. They're not what they were years ago. I do think – and does this get Mike Leach fired? Is Mike Leach on the hot seat? That's an interesting question I don't think people are talking about. How much longer do you give him to go and make a bowl game or do something? How does he up his recruiting game? They went 7-6 last year. I think they take a step back. I'm just going to go ahead and call it 5-7, right down the middle. They're one shy. It's possible. It is possible maybe if they get a team like Kentucky or whatever, because I think if LSU's at home, I'd give them that. But that's a Death Valley Road matchup early on, and I like LSU to be hyped up for that game there with Coach Kelly. A&M is going to be A&M this year. Their recruiting is phenomenal. They were pretty much I think they only lost 1 or 2 games after they had the Bama win. So It's going to be something awesome. I'm excited for A&M and Connor Wegman. I'm excited to see that quarterback. And they had Calzada leave for Auburn. So, they lose some players, but they're one of the more talented offenses, I think, coming up this next season in college football. Hell, they might have the second best offense behind Alabama. And I only say that, I'm not, trying to throw Georgia aside, but Georgia's losing a couple receivers or whatever, even though they do bring back some offensive line and Stetson Bennett. But you're not beating A&M. You're darn sure not beating Alabama. They could get Arkansas. That's a good possibility. That's one of those games that I think would be a game changer to get you 6-6. LSU too. I'm just going to say I'm not too high on Mississippi State this year, or as Chess and I joke, mid-tippy Tate, right? But again, I'm going to say their losses are LSU, A&M, Arkansas, Kentucky, Alabama, Ole Miss, and Georgia. That's a tough stretch of games right there, and you got 4. Like, look at this. I'm calling 4 straight losses here. Now, of those 4, I think their best chance to win is probably Arkansas. But I think A&M's just going to be better. Kroger Field's tough. Alabama's Alabama. We know all that. Get a bye week. Rest up. Figure out what the heck's going on. Go beat Auburn. You're not going to beat Georgia. You'll beat ETSU. And I think Ole Miss is just going to still have a good offense with or without Matt Corral. I think it's going to be something special either way. But want to hear from y'all in the comments. Tell me where I'm missing something. What am I missing about the recruiting? What am I missing about this schedule? I don't know, man. I got 5-7, just shy. It wouldn't surprise me if they get that 6th win. Of these teams down here, I think at LSU or at Kentucky is their best chance. But like the A&M, the Ole Miss, the UGA, the Alabama, those are the blue bloods coming into this year for the SEC, the tier 1 and tier 2 out the bat, and it is going to be a tough road for them. But again, I say 5-7 for the Mississippi State Bulldogs this year with Mike Leach. Does that get him fired? I don't know, but it probably would put him on a hot seat if he's not on one already. But that's going to do it. Hey, I love you guys. Jesus loves you. He's got a great plan. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content, folks. And until next time, Ballard Sports Media, check it out. Love y'all. Peace out and roll Tide.